In the heart of western Nigeria, in a small town known as Ibokun, lived a girl named Marayo, a name that meant, I see joy. But there had been little joy in her life. She was born into a once proud family. Her father, Baba Tai, had been a well-respected cocoa farmer with dreams as wide as the horizon. He had land, workers, and influence. But dreams, like crops, sometimes wither in the wrong season. After a string of failed harvests, betrayal from his business partners, and the untimely death of his wife, Babate was left broken. His debts piled high, and his dignity drowned beneath them. The man who once rode proudly through the market now walked with bowed shoulders and empty hands. His only treasure left in the world was his daughter, Marayo. Marayo was only 17 when her father made a desperate decision. To save his home, to quiet the creditors, he approached the richest man in the region, Chief Adekunle. Chief Adekunle was a man feared more than loved. A billionaire by every measure, owner of oil blocks, acres of land, and connections that ran from the village council to foreign banks. He was known for his wealth and his ruthlessness. When Babate came to beg, Chief Adekunle smiled, not with kindness, but with calculation. He offered to clear the debts, but in return, he demanded Marayo. Not as a bride, not at first. He wanted her to serve in his mansion as a maid, until the debt was repaid through labor. With no choice, Babate agreed, and so Marayo left her father's crumbling home and entered the walls of the chief's grand estate. She worked from dawn till nightfall, scrubbing floors so clean they shone, polishing marble pillars, and washing clothes until her hands were raw. She ate what was left after others had eaten. She never complained. She never questioned. She simply endured. But unknown to her, the chief had been watching. Chief Adekunle had a problem. Despite all his power, his fortune, and his success, he lacked one thing, a male heir. His wife, Madame Ronka, had given him 2 daughters, beautiful girls, intelligent. But to the Adekunle lineage, they were not enough. The family wealth, the ancestral heirloom, an ancient crown said to bless and protect their bloodline, could only pass to a firstborn son. Madame Ronka, after several miscarriages, had been told by doctors she could no longer conceive. Chief Adekunle grew desperate, and in his desperation, he began to consider what tradition allowed, a second wife. That's when his eyes fell upon Marayo. She was quiet, beautiful, young, obedient. She did not gossip or scheme like the others, and best of all, her father still owed him. One evening after dinner, he summoned her. Your father's debt remains, he said, but I can forgive it. I can make your family whole again. Marayo lifted her eyes, unsure of what he meant. You will become my wife. Her heart sank. He gave no room for refusal. Days later, the traditional rites were performed in secret. There were no drums, no laughter, no celebration, only shame, silence, and a girl forced into a union she did not want. Marayo became the second wife of a billionaire, but the moment she stepped into the main mansion as wife, war was declared. Madame Ronki was livid. In her eyes, Marayo was a lowly housemaid, an unworthy rival, a stain on her legacy. She could not stop the marriage, but she could make Marayo's life unbearable. She insulted her in front of guests, slapped her in front of servants, poisoned her food. On the nights when it was Marayo's turn to share a bed with their husband, Ronki would fake illness, create drama, or even threaten the guards to block her access. Marayo bore it all in silence. She remembered her father's face the day she left, how shame had turned his eyes hollow. She would endure anything for him. Chief Adekunle did nothing. He barely acknowledged Marayo except when he wanted to use her body. He never defended her, never comforted her. He wanted a son, that was all. Then, after months of silent suffering, Marayo fell ill. The morning sickness, the dizziness, the strange cravings, it all pointed to one thing. The house nurse confirmed it. She was pregnant. The joy Marayo felt was not for herself, but for the child, her child, a child that might finally give her life meaning. She kept it quiet, wanting to find the right time to tell the chief. But she never got the chance. Madame Ronki found out first, and she was furious. Her worst nightmare had come true. In panic and rage, she did something unforgivable. One evening, she secretly laced Chief Adekunle's drink with a mild poison, just enough to make him collapse, not die. As the house descended into chaos, Ronki pointed the finger. "It's her, that girl. She wants to kill him for revenge." The guards turned on Marayo. The chief, dizzy and sweating, looked at her through half-conscious eyes. She tried to speak, to explain. But he roared, "You snake! I brought you in, and this is how you repay me?" He never let her speak. He had her arrested, dragged from the compound in shame. She was thrown in prison, pregnant, alone, and disgraced. He went on air, denouncing her. He demanded his bride price back. Her father, humiliated beyond measure, collapsed days later and was never the same. In prison, Marayo fought to survive. She bled, she cried, she prayed. The guards mocked her, the inmates bullied her. But inside her, the child kept kicking, reminding her to hold on. And then, as if heaven finally listened, help came. Her childhood friend, Teniola, now a nurse in Lagos, heard her story. Tenny rallied friends and strangers alike. They raised bail money. A lawyer intervened, and after months of darkness, Marayo was free. But her safety in Nigeria could never be guaranteed. So Tenny, with help from NGOs and family abroad, smuggled her out of the country. In London, far from Ibukun, Marayo gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Ayotunde. Joy has returned. Meanwhile, Chief Adekunle's empire began to fall apart. His farmland was seized over unpaid debts. His oil license was revoked after a scandal. And worst of all, the ancestral heirloom was stolen during a break-in. Then came the dreams. Visions of a boy crying in the snow, of a crown floating in a river, of an old man whispering, "You cast your legacy away." Guilt gnawed at him. He began to ask questions. Secretly, he had the prison records reviewed, and that's when the truth exploded. The poison had come from within. The nurse confessed. Madame Ronk had bribed her. Witnesses came forward. Marayo had been framed. He collapsed in his study and wept like a child. The next day, he boarded a flight to London. He found her address and knocked on the door. Marayo opened it, saw him, and froze. He fell to his knees. "I was a fool. I didn't listen. I didn't trust you. I destroyed you." She didn't answer, but from behind her, Ayotunde stepped out. The boy looked exactly like the chief, and for the first time in years, Chief Adekunle felt hope. He asked to hold him. Marayo said no. "He is not your heir. He is not your legacy. He is my son, and I will not let you break him the way you broke me." The chief cried. And then, fate revealed one final twist. Ayotunde was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder, a condition only manageable through a specific bloodline match. That match? The Adekunle blood. Ayotunde was not just the chief's son. He was the very key to the family's survival. Chief offered the world. Marayo refused. Be his father, not his buyer. If you want him in your life, prove you are worthy, not by wealth, but by love. And so, the man who once ruled Ibukun like a king became a humble father, visiting quietly, helping in silence. Years later, Ayotunde returned to Nigeria, not to inherit land or claim riches, but to build something greater. He opened schools, health centers, homes for abandoned girls. And at the launch of the Marayo Foundation, he stood tall and said, "My mother gave up her joy so I could find mine. The price of her freedom was pain, but from her suffering, I found purpose." Thank you for watching this unforgettable story of love, betrayal, and redemption. If Marayo's journey touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to African Folktales by Lydia, where powerful African stories come alive. See you next time.